Alright guys, welcome to the channel. I am Todd, your host. Today we are talking about one of my favorite guns, P320. However, we're doing iron sights versus the red dot. Okay, they're exactly the same type of P320, both compacts, except one obviously has a Romeo Pro on it. This one right here, this iron sighted one, it's empty. This one's mine. It is my personal EDC. This one, it is from the rental case. It is empty. All the guns we are talking about right now, these two, are empty. Now, when you see the shooting compilation, you're going to notice that I'm wearing basically an everyday carry holster that I use at work, versus I would normally be using my gun belt, which is what I'm used to training with, and what you guys are used to seeing. However, problem is I have a Safariland holster, and since my 320 has iron sights, I've got no problem with it fitting in there. Works great. Red dot. It's gonna stop because it's not cut out for a red dot. So, can't use this today, so I resorted to my regular everyday holster. Alright? Now, my regular everyday holster, which I use, fits my 320. There you go. Red dot. It fits it. Why? It's cut for a red dot. I bought it that way because at the time I wasn't sure which 320 I was going to go with. Alright, that being said, I am old school and I like iron sights. I don't care if you call me a FUD or not. I like iron sights. I'm not saying I don't like red dots. I'm just more accustomed to the iron sights. Alright, now red dots, and I'm not going to beat it up because listen, everyone knows what iron sights are. If you've been shooting for any amount of time, you know how to use iron sights. That being said, why would you might want to opt for the red dot instead? Obviously it's going to cost you a little more. Or even if you don't opt for something like this with the red dot that already comes on it, you might want something like a Glock 19 MOS, where you're able to then put a red dot on of your choice, and we'll talk about that. Mainly we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons about having a red dot. I made a list of things I like and things I don't like. Alright, now let's go into it. Alright, pros, right off the get-go. Why would I want a red dot? It's pretty simple. It's a single focal plane, which you're probably going to hear it again, but when I draw, and I'm not talking about at the range where you're just like, okay, front sight, shoot. All right, I'm talking about when you're drawing and you're coming up. Because with iron sights, you have to do a transition. So I'm staring at the target. I draw. As I come up, I have to switch to the front sight. All right. So up, target, front sight, and I can take that shot. It's a little easier with a red dot. Target, found the red dot, I shot. Never once did I take my focus off the target. It was all target, because I'm superimposing the red dot. I'm not staring at that red dot, which a lot of people tend to do when they first start using it. All right, another pro to it is when I have my iron sights out, I am focused right here on that front sight post. My whole world literally collapses around on that front sight post. It tends to, when adrenaline and all that, and I'm talking about in generalities unless you're used to it. But your view gets narrowed because all you care about is that front post. Now, in a real defense situation, when you have adrenaline pumping, honestly, you're probably not going to be aiming. You're just going to be pointing it right at the target, and because you're going to be close. Self-defense is 5 yards or less. All right. But when it comes to the red dot, when I'm punched out and I have that red dot and I'm squared up and I'm good to go, I can see everything still because I'm staring at that target. So, yes, you're going to get tunnel vision still, but it's easier because you're not focused on that little white dot of your front post. All right? More accuracy. So when you're shooting and you get that recoil, boop, you've got to wait for this to settle so you can realign everything. All right, so every shot you've got to realign, equal light, equal height, bang, bang, bang. So you gotta wait for it to settle. No matter how much you squeeze, you're gonna get a little bit of muzzle flip, which is okay. With the red dot, it's a lot more accurate because inside that window, all right, you can see that red dot. So as you're shooting, it's just more accurate, all right, because you're staring at the target and you're not trying to jump back and forth from target to front sight, so on and so forth, all right? It's gonna be faster on transitions. So what does that mean? Is when I draw on target number 1, I shoot, all right? I'm gonna move my eyes to the second target, move the target, realign the sights, front sight, and shoot, all right? With the red dot, it's easier. It's target, fire, all right? And then I just move my eyes. As I'm moving the gun, I move my eyes and immediately just put the red dot right there, all right? So I can start moving because my eyes will move faster than my arms. And that's how I do it, at least. So for me, transitioning from one target to another is always going to be quicker. Another thing is, I'm no spring chicken anymore, all right? I'm in my mid-40s. I wear bifocals. Some of you have seen me in glasses. They're bifocals, all right? I need it for distance. I need it for reading. Especially really small text, unlike my phone. So I feel old enough as it is. That being said, that front sight can get a little bit blurry for some as you get older, all right? The nice thing is, since I'm starting at the target, I don't need to see that red dot clear as day. I can see it just fine, and I can get that shot off. So even for someone with aging eyes, it's a lot easier because you're staring at the target. All right? Now, the other thing that I like about the red dot, and I show everybody and they look at me like I'm insane. When you're using iron sights, you're kind of limited to what you can grab, okay? So if you're depending on your training, you can grab back there to rack the slide. You know, I tend to grab up front to rack that slide, so I roll my hands right back in. All right? That's how it's gonna be. You can use the slide release, so on and so forth, all right? With the red dot, it's simple. There's a big area for you to grab. So when you're shooting, if you need to rack it, I just grab the whole Romeo, all right, like this. If I'm up front, like actively shooting, but instead of trying to hit the slide release, I'll just hit the laser. I'll just hit the red dot, okay? It's not gonna damage it. It's not gonna hurt it. Now, I'm sure there are more pros out there that everybody can think of. Those are the ones that I thought of. All right, so I finally got the shot timer to work on my phone. I just had to increase its sensitivity. And all we're gonna be doing right now is a single shot at a steel plate so you have that audible hit. And we're just gonna see which one's faster. The iron sights or the red dot. I know you're all gonna say the red dot, obviously, but let's do it the scientific way. All right, we're gonna take maybe 4 shots with each gun, and then we'll go from there. All right, first up is gonna be iron sights, first and foremost. Hearing protection, I got my eyes on. Turn them on so I can actually hear. All right. We're using just FMJ. It's nothing special. It's 115 grain 9mm. So here we go. 4 shots, one at a time with the shot timer. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Here we go. Ooh, I missed. That doesn't count. And it didn't register it anyways. All right, we'll try it again. .79. Reset it. Shot number 3. Nope, I screwed that one up. Reset it. .7. Reset. Well, I walked off camera because my phone started screaming about its temperature, so I just went over and put it in the shade. All right, so I got one more shot, and I'll just figure it out and post edit. All right, here we go. So there's the 4 shots. All right, now I want to work on a bill drill. So I have 6 left. So I have another target, and we're gonna do about 5-yard line. We're gonna draw 6 shots, center mass, and it's supposed to be under 2 seconds. So we'll see what it does. All right, I have not been practicing, and that's honestly that's the truth. Whenever you guys watch other YouTube channels and they're drawing and it's flawless, you know, they spend half the day practicing that, so on film it looks fantastic. I came down, set everything up, and I'm doing this pretty much cold. I haven't done draws like this and shooting and timing it in probably about 2 months. So I'm a little rusty, I'm a little slow, and you can see what happens when you don't train. I was practicing other things, wasn't training on the draw and all that, so that's all on me. But enough of me making excuses. So let's do the 6 rounds in the center mass. All right, here we go. All right, it definitely spreads out. It's not a tight little group, like I'm taking my time, so it is what it is. But I don't want to mix up the mags. Alrighty, now what I was waiting for, red dot. All right, 4 shots at the steel, 6 shots into the target. Here we go. I hit it, it swung, and I gotta go fix it. That was shot 1, here goes shot 2. Shot 3. Took me a second to acquire that red dot. 4. All right, that's got to be under a second, I hope. All right, now bill drill. Draw 6 shots, center mass, under 2 seconds. All right, here we go. Screwed the pooch. I tried to activate it like it's my Safari Land. It's a tight little group right there. And it's clear. All right, so coming right out the gate, obviously if you practice and you know where to put the red dot and you're focused on the target, you're gonna have no problem. As soon as that red dot is where you want it, start drilling the target. Versus with the iron sights, you're still trying to get, for me, see if I can explain this. So when you're at the range and you're like shooting at your targets in your lane, so you're gonna be up, you're gonna be like, oh, front sight, front sight, front sight, shoot. Okay, here though your focus is on the target, and then when you draw and you're coming up, I'm looking at the target, front sight, front sight, front sight, shoot. So as soon as my front sight is super clear, I'm taking that shot, especially when it's where I want it. All right, so that again would be target, 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 front sight, front sight, front sight, shoot. All right, so I'm not even fully extended. I'm still somewhat here, and I'm starting to shoot. So I've got that transition that I have to go through. The red dot, there is no transition. When I come up, which I'll show you guys. So it's not loaded, guys. All right, so nobody have a conniption. All right, so when I draw and I come up and I'm pressing out, I'm looking right through the glass. I'm looking at the target. All right, so up, and I have the dot. That's not a problem. All right, I'm up, staring at my target, and I'm still looking at the target, but it's all red dot. I mean, it's just superimposed. That's why it is faster. But when you're, I don't want to say stubborn like me, I just like the old school iron sights on handguns. Again, for me, they're not a primary. They're always going to be a secondary backup. Now, I'll run red dots on carbines all day long. I'm not insane. Those are way quicker than iron sights will ever be. However, I just haven't come over to the fold yet with red dots on pistols. You know, maybe someday. All right, maybe I'll just purchase a 320 like that with the Romeo Pro. All right, but till then, I'm using trusty iron sights, and I'm okay with that. Now let's talk about the cons. Okay, for the iron sights, they're pretty durable. I have knocked posts off before. I've had my rear sight shift. I mean, it happens. But for the most part, you can really beat on these iron sights, and they're not going anywhere. The red dot is technology, all right? And if you beat on it too much, you're gonna break it. If you drop it, which it's a P320, I don't recommend that. It's a joke, the problem's been fixed. Regardless, it's got glass in it, it's got a bunch of little doodads and things to make it all work, right? So you can break that stuff pretty easily, especially if you're really beating on it. Iron sights just don't have that problem. Another con, I would say, would be the expense of it. Iron sights are very inexpensive, and you know, if you don't like the factory ones, you can swap out for night sights, and it's not that expensive. Your red dot's a couple $100, depending on what you're buying. When it comes to something like that, especially if it's going on an everyday carry, you're going to want to buy once, cry once. You're going to want to spend the extra money to buy something that's really going to work if it's a gun you're going to carry every day with you. One of the other cons, though, you need to know about, it's called washout. Flare, glare, whatever you want to call it. On a sunny day, I am kind of standing in the shade right now, so it might be a little dark because the sun's moving and the trees are giving me more shade, which is nice because my phone overheated just being in the sun. Depending on where you're aiming and where the sun is located, you may get some glare on that glass, especially if the sun is behind you and you're punching out and for some reason you get that glare. It's going to be hard to find that dot. Speaking of that, another thing that could go wrong with this is, well, the weather. So if you're in a really cool place and you know, the gun's gonna be cooled off, the glass is cool, so on and so forth, and then you walk out on an August afternoon when the sun is at its peak and it's blazing hot with 1,000% humidity. Welcome to Connecticut. You could have condensation that forms on the glass. It can fog up on you. Along with obviously any rain, debris, you can get things that obstruct the emitter, so it's not actually shooting a red dot up onto the glass. You know, if you're training hardcore and it's muddy out and you happen to get a big glob of mud up in this area, you're not going to see anything. You got to clean it all out, all that stuff. And that's going to take a minute. It could slow you down. And it could be a detriment. Another big problem with this, I know I hit up, hey, it's great for aging eyes. Unfortunately, if you have astigmatism, you're going to have a lot of problems with the red dot. It's just the way it is. At that point, iron sights are going to be the best for you. I know a lot of people that have astigmatisms, and the red dot is just not their jam, and they have nothing but problems with it, and they prefer iron sights. So there's always a place for iron sights, even though it's old school. Another con with this would be the battery life. Now, there are some out there where you buy them, and it's like the batteries are good for like 3 months. Some will say, oh, the battery's good for like 6 years. It really depends if you shut it off, if you Leave it on all the time. Obviously, that's going to drain the battery fast. If it's a Romeo, it does time out and shut off, but it has a jerk feature. So when you jerk it out of the holster, it's going to click on for you. It does add life to the battery, but at that point, I'd rather always know I have a fresh battery in it. So regardless of what the manual says, once a year at least, I'd swap the battery. And it could be anything from New Year's Day, you swap the battery. Now, some people may be recovering from New Year's Eve, so do it on your birthday. Just pick a memorable date that's easy to remember. Hey, I gotta swap battery. Me, I do it on my birthday. All right. Another con, the holsters. Obviously, you saw that right in the beginning. My Safariland, which is great for iron sights, doesn't fit the Romeo. So finding holsters out there sometimes can be kind of a hassle. And that being said, sometimes the holster you find isn't very good for concealability. So you're going to print more, or it's going to be a little more bulky. It might not fit you right. I don't know. There's a million things. So that could be a con. All right? Like me, I'd have to buy a whole new Safariland holster, and they can be expensive. Another con, and it's nothing against the red dot itself, it's counterfeits, because these do run, you know, on the more, I don't want to say super expensive, but they're more expensive side. You're cruising the internet and you're looking at, you know, Guns International or whatever, and someone's got a Romeo Pro up there, and it's like half the price of a normal one. It could be a counterfeit, guys. So you need to be careful. People are selling knockoffs. Could be a red dot that's built for airsoft, and it's not going to stand up to the abuse you want to put it through. So be aware. Buyer beware. There you go. Now, the biggest difference is when you buy one with the Romeo Pro already attached, or some sort of red dot already attached, your iron sights are actually going to be taller than a normal set. All right, you can see these are way shorter than the ones in red dot, because the iron sights have to clear the base of the red dot. You can get one where it's co-witnessed. Some people like that. Some people like the red dot sitting right on top of the post. Regardless, you're going to have taller sights versus regular irons, which are going to be a little low profile to the gun. So you may have to, if you buy just a straight MOS and it doesn't come with the optic, it's going to have standard sights on it. Now you're going to have to invest in iron sights that are suppressor height, which is, you know, they're taller to clear the suppressor, which we're in Connecticut, we can't have suppressors on handguns like that. That's the cons. I mean, I'm not knocking them, I'm not saying they're bad. Given the opportunity, yes, I'd probably buy one. I mean, I bought iron sights because that's what I'm used to. To me, it's kind of like, it's the stick shift of aiming. Anybody can run a red dot. It takes a little bit more skill to run those irons. For us, when we teach the NRA Basic Pistol Safety class, we try everybody out first with the iron sights. And if they're having problems with those iron sights, we go to the Smith & Wesson Victory with a red dot, and nobody has a problem with that red dot once we show them where the dot is. So that's the other thing, that there's going to be a learning curve. All right, with iron sights, you come up, I mean, they're iron sights. You can see them right away. With this one, when you punch out, if you don't have it perfectly lined up, or you don't know where you're looking, you're going to not see that red dot right away. I know I always see people aiming like this, and I'm like, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And then all of a sudden they see it. So if you buy one with a red dot, right, and you're going to practice drawing from the holster, when you come up, you want to, like, I didn't catch it at first. All right. Yep, I got it there, and I have to adjust slightly. All right. Because I'm not transitioning, I'm staring at the target. So up, there it is. So you just got to put reps in, so you know when you punch out where it's at. All right, you don't need to be fast, you just want to There it is. And this you can do at home. Dry firing. There it is. There it is. All right. The nice thing with dry firing is when you practice, you can get that first round off. You're going to have to cycle the gun, however, because it is technically a single action. There is no restrike ability, unlike the Taurus G3C. All right. And be honest, when you punch out, if you're like, oh, don't see it, start over. I mean, you guys saw during my demonstration of coming out of the holster, if I didn't see it, I didn't shoot. That, and you guys saw, I actually really screwed up on one of the holster draws, because this is a Serpa holster, and since I was running drills, I'm so accustomed to running it with a gun belt that I swept my thumb, but I didn't push on the index, so when I tried to pull up and out, nothing happened. All right, I just kind of jerked up. Well, that hit. I kind of jerked up on the holster because I didn't depress it. So practice, 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 because practice will make better. And make sure you understand which holster you're using and don't, you know, basically do what I just did. So that's just basically my thoughts on red dots versus iron sights in a nutshell. I know there's a ton of videos out there with people pontificating on the value of the red sight or the red dot. I have no problem with them. I think they're great. I do like red dots. But I always look at my handgun as a secondary and not a primary. I'm looking at it for more close quarters. I would, you know, if I'm running, you know, competitions, I'm definitely taking a red dot. But if I'm just training and I'm using a carbine and I'm doing that transition because the carbine goes down, then iron sights are going to be just fine for me. I'm looking at close quarters. If I was taking a shot from the 50-yard line with a handgun, yeah, I'm going to opt for that red dot because, well, with the red dot, I can zero it in to where I want. So if I'm like, well, I'm going to consistently be shooting at 50 yards, I will zero my red dot for 50 yards, which you can do. Your iron sights, these aren't really adjustable, except the rear sight, you can adjust it left or right, but you can't do it on the fly. You need a special tool for that. So whatever its point of aim, point of impact is set from the factory is what you're stuck with. Red dot, you get to adjust it. So if you're like, well, I want it for 15 yards, well, that's great. You want it for 25 yards. There you go. You can do that. You're not going to be able to do that with the iron sights. So that's definitely a pro in my eyes. I can pick where I want it. But that's all I really have to say about the red dots versus the iron sights. Just rambling on. But if you're in the area and you're a customer of ours, and you're utilizing the range and you're looking for a rental, this one right here, this one is for rent. And we tend to have these in stock. So if you're like, yep, I really want a P320, you can get one with just iron sights. You can get one with a red dot. We've got them where we've got enhanced grip versus this grip, which is the standard grip. You can get one enhanced grip. It's going to be a little more money. Is it worth it? I don't know. I've never shot the enhanced grip one. I'm used to just standard grips. And for me, like I was talking with one of my coworkers, if my grip starts to wear out or I'm not really keen on it anymore and I want something a little more aggressive, sandpaper works great. And one of the products that I tend to use a lot is skateboard tape. Put the skateboard tape right on there. You can trim it out. It's cheaper than buying the pre-cut ones. You put the skateboard tape on there and it's going to be nice and aggressive. But at that point, I would suggest you wear gloves unless you want your skin all torn up on your hands. So that's all I got for you guys on this video. Please like, share, comment, always subscribe to the channel. If you're in the area and you want to take a look at one of these, come on down. We'll hook you up. All right, get out of here, guys. I'll talk to you in the next video. Oh, so I lied. One more thing. Of course, it's the end of the video, so I do my little ritual. Iron sights, I was able to make it all the way out to the 30-yard line, take a shot, and I hit it, and after that I missed it. So when I moved out to 40, forget it, I'm done. So I know with my iron sights, 30 yards in. However, red dot made it all the way to the 50-yard line. Better with the red dot today than I would be with iron sights. Maybe I should get that red dot. Y'all should buy red dots.